All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. It is Sunday, and yet again we are fireside. Took me a little bit of time to get that thing stoked this morning, but it's raging now. Nice and toasty down here in the cave. Gonna get some snow today. So, who's excited for Slowdown Sunday? I know I am, and I pretty much think that the poster children of Slowdown Sunday are today's episode, and it's going to take me a few minutes to get through this, and I will try my best, but it's a lot to get through. We're gonna try. But we're going back, well, first of all, you could go back to basically any week in the 70s, and you'd find a song from this duo in the charts somewhere. So that's the first thing. You could pick any time in the 70s. But this past week in 1983 was the anniversary of when Karen Carpenter died. And so, of course, we're talking about the Carpenters. Guilty pleasure, the Carpenters, right? I mean, they pretty much got a bad rap for themselves, right? Just because of their wholesome appearance and their music. I mean, that's, they've been jokes about their songs and movies, that kind of stuff. So, there is plenty of that out there. But when you get to the bottom of it, the fact of the matter is they churned out a lot of just hits. And it turns out Karen Carpenter, if you didn't know it already, could sing. She could really sing. So anyway, they had a record-breaking run of hits on the Billboard Top 40 and the adult contemporary charts. I mean, we forget, you talk about the Billboard Hot 100, that you get a lot of stuff on there, but that doesn't represent what everyone is listening to. So you have to look at the adult contemporary charts, and even the modern rock charts, which came about in the mid-'80s, was more of a representation of what I was listening to than the Billboard Hot 100. So you have to look at all those charts. They had 3 number 1 hits, 5 number 2 hits, 15 number 1 adult contemporary hits, 12 top 10 hits. They sold 90 million records. 90 million. They're like one of the best-selling artist groups of all time. They basically toured and owned the 70s. The whole thing. So, let's get to it. They were born siblings, obviously. They were born in Yale, New Haven Hospital. They were born in New Haven. Moved to LA in 1963. Why did they move to LA? Well, because their parents said, you know what, Richard, you're a budding music star. Why don't we just pick up and move to LA, because we think you'll have more opportunities there. And that seems to be a common theme, where families picked up and moved to LA because they thought their children would do well in entertainment. At this time, Richard was playing piano and Karen was playing drums. And she played drums for a really long time. So when they get there, Richard goes to California State Long Beach. Shout out to that, Caroline. And even Karen Carpenter goes there after she finishes high school there. At first, Richard, being older, he has a group first. It's called the Richard Carpenter Trio, which is jazz music. And they actually do okay. Karen starts singing around this time. And she has what I've understood to be a rare singing voice, a contralto. If you guys know singing voices out there, a contralto is pretty rare. It is the lowest of female singing voices. Anyway, as far as classical type of singing is concerned. In 1966, they go to the Hollywood Bowl for a battle of the bands, and they won it. So they got themselves a record deal for RCA Records. At this time, also, Richard and one of the guys from the band got a job at Main Street Disney Main Street USA, singing like a soda shop or something, and they were supposed to be singing turn of the century classics, but people, of course, would ask for more contemporary songs, and they would make requests, and they basically would say, oh, I guess we're supposed to do that too. So they would honor their requests, and they got fired. They ended up writing a song about the supervisor that fired them, and it later became a Carpenter song called Mr. Gooter. Anyway, Karen joins the band with, or forms a band with some members from California State, Long Beach, and Richard, and they call themselves Spectrum. They are regulars at the Whiskey Go-Go. They opened up for Steppenwolf really early on, and they kind of fooled around with some music and stuff, but they disbanded by 1968, and it was then in the late 60s they decided, why don't we just make ourselves a duo, and that's what they do. Around this time, Karen did audition for Kenny Rogers and the First Edition as a vocalist, and she did not get that part. So they're a duo, and what do they do? Richard Carpenter, turns out, is a master at rearranging songs and fitting them to their style. So he rearranges Ticket to Ride from the Beatles, and they release it as a single, and it did all right. It went to number 54. That was the beginning of their career, really. Next thing they do, 1970, they re-record Burt Bacharach's song, They Long to Be Close to You, which is released in the maybe the winter of 1970, and by July it's #1 for 4 weeks in the United States, and that's when they really hit the scene. They started with touring, albums, live TV show. They had a live show for a while. They went to the White House twice. It was just insane. It was either tour, albums. They were actually big in Japan. We like that expression here. I'm big in Japan. I'm huge in Japan. They did a show in front of 85,000 people. Can you imagine 85,000 people going to see the Carpenters? That would be us going to like the Superdome or something to see the Carpenters. That's crazy, right? But they have a huge run of hits. Of course, I'm introduced to them around this time, the late 70s, like their music, and then it kind of falls out of favor, and then I kind of have a rehash of their music in the early 90s. I got into them again for a short period of time when I was listening to some Neil Diamond and such. And towards the end there, get back to the late 70s, Karen does try a solo career. Richard has to take a break because he's addicted to Quaaludes, so he has to go into rehab. So she says, I'm going to go solo, and I'm going to reinvent myself and be more of a dance disco person. So she gets a producer named Phil Ramone in 79. She's offered some songs. She turns down Rock With You and Off the Wall, which will be later recorded by Michael Jackson. How about that? Can you picture that at all? I'm trying to picture that. The album was finished in 1980. The label hated it and did not release it, and she was devastated. They spent $400,000 of their own money to record that record, and it didn't get released till long after she died in 1983. Anyway, so as I said, we're at 8 minutes. We're trying to wrap it up. Let's list the hits, and then we'll go with Song of the Day. Your job is to listen to the Carpenters today. We've only just begun. Top of the World. I mean, that's a great one, right? Rainy Days and Mondays, another great one. Close to You, of course, that's the one that gets made fun of the most. Yesterday Once More. Goodbye to Love. There's a Kind of Hush. Hurting Each Other. Sing, which was from Sesame Street, right? For All We Know. You, Superstar. Please, Mr. Postman. Yes, that remake was a hit for them. Touch Me When We're Dancing, the last of their hits. Only Yesterday. This Masquerade, and how about this one, Bless the Beast and the Children. I had totally forgotten about this song when I was a kid in the late 70s and I saw that TV special. Man, you really want to bring yourself down, watch Bless the Beast and the Children, because that last scene where they kill all the buffalo, well, that just sticks with you. And then they play this song that just rips your heart out. Man, it was hard to recover from that. I read my World magazine. Those poor buffalo. Anyway, I'd totally forgotten about that. Thank you for reminding me, Wiki. Anyway, so what are we doing for Song of the Day? It's pretty easy for me. I mean, a lot of these are really, really good, but Superstar is the one that demonstrates her singing style, and it just, to me, is just like the true Carpenters song of the 70s. So we're doing Superstar, Carpenters. Tell me your favorite Carpenters song. There's some of you out there listening to the Carpenters. I know you like them. I know you've got some favorite songs out there. You're going to say, sing or something like that. Come on, give it to me. It's Slowdown Sunday. You're allowed. You're in a safe space. You're in the trust tree. Give me your Carpenters story. We're trying to get under 10 minutes. I'm not going to make it. All right, Superstar, Carpenters. Have a great Sunday. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.